Right, back on the on one again. I'm not sure where we are with this. I've recorded up to part 5. I haven't ripped any of them off onto a video or edited them out, but we've got part 5, and we're halfway through the rebuild, so it depends how that long is, whether this is like part 6 rebuild. But what we've also got to do is we've got to put the Rockshox back together. Let's move the camera kit out of the way. So we have got to put this back together, and it's stuck to the thing. So we've got the rebuild kit for this to work. No, we didn't want to do that. That'll be why it's got big chunks missing out of it. Fortunately, it didn't bang anything. So there's a rebuild kit kicking around for this somewhere. There we go. There's a rebuild kit. We've got size 6s, because we've got size 6s rather luckily. So I think what we're going to do, crack on with this now, put this back together, then it's ready to go on the bike when we are ready for it. Don't know why we've got a load of oils kicking around. Put the oils back. Don't need them. I will need some hydraulic fluid, which I found earlier, the original Reverb fluid that came with it. Probably be alright, it'd be no worse than that. It's been sealed in there anyway. I've got the bleed kit that came with this. So, because when you buy these, they don't come with the wire connected, and you cut it to length and then you bleed it and put it back together. So we have got to crack on with this now then. So we'll get all this lot back together, replace all these horrible manky bits with the nice shiny new bits. Boom. And see how we go. Right then, let's get you in the stand and we'll get you going. We're back with us. Right, so I don't know if you can see it, there is a bit of muck in the glides in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to degrease it with some brake cleaner, and then push some cloth through it and see if we can clean it up a bit, get the last of it out of there. If you are going to push it through with anything, just make sure you don't catch the sides. See how much muck's coming out of there. And we've still not got it really. Let's try something else. Sorry, you really didn't want to see my face that up close, did you? That's a lot better. Oh, we've got a clean t-shirt, that'll do it. Need a longer screwdriver, I think. Ah, that's perfect now. If you can see that. Got all the last bits that were in the channels out. Now I can't actually remember how to rebuild these. Strangely. So you'll have to bear with me. It is a while since I've done one of these. The idea is you just want to make sure there's absolutely nothing on these at all. So isopropanol, or whatever they call it, is your friend with most of this, and good clean cloths. Lots of them. Now, what we do like to do is So it is ideal to soak these in I've got just the thing. Oh, perfect. So this is very light suspension oil. So this is, there you go. So that's what you actually use in a pair of forks. So we're just going to let that soak all that lot up, because that's what that was originally. So what it does, it just soaks up the oil and it smears oil up and down the shaft to keep it lubed up. Same with the other one that goes in the top cap, but that should already be in there. In fact, it's not. So I'm starting to wonder if I got one of those, because we were supposed to get one. Is it in? Oh no, that's the old top cap. The new top cap's in here. So the top cap in here should come pre-assembled and pre-oiled, because this is a 200-hour service kit, so it's the intermediate one. It's the one where you don't get the bottom piece. Yep, so you can see what it is on that one. It's just absolutely covered in grease. So that's fork butter. So that's going to replace that. So we take that out of it. And put that over there. And that's the broken one of them. We've got one of them to put on, so we've got to replace the seal on that as well. There should be one of these in the kit, hopefully, he says. Or these are the seals for this. Right. Anybody's guess. They are the seals for that. So they're the lower seal head inner seal. So that's that. So they're all the seals that we need for this bit here. So that's that seal there. There's a big fat rubber seal, which I'm guessing is to replace that one. And then you've got a nice thin seal, which I think sits underneath that. Yep. So that sits underneath there. So we'll pop these back in here so they don't get mixed up. Right then. Yep, that looks okay. Popping this off, just have a look at the seal under there. See how clean that is. Because we've got another one of them to put on. So it's aluminium coated in Teflon. And we need to be really careful with the rubber seal that's under here that we don't damage it. Now this is the seal that I suspect is in the rebuild kit. And that does feel a bit crunchy. Yeah, that's the seal that's in there. So that seal's staying on. So we need to retain that one because we didn't get one of those in the kit. Oh, chicken's having a moment. What are they like? What are they up to? So again, all we're looking is just making sure there's no contamination, all the muck's out of this, because if we don't get the muck out of this, it isn't going to seal and it's not going to hold air. These have to hold about 250 pounds PSI, so that's a lot higher than forks. So it's really keen that you get all the muck out of them. Of course, I could just go and get the service manual up and do it properly to the service manual, but hey, where would the fun be in that? So again, just degrease it, which seems odd because I'm about to smother it with grease, but I just want to make sure all the grease is out of it before we go any further. That's looking really good now. I'll quick fertile in here, just make sure nothing's stuck in there. So with the full 400-hour service kit, or the 2-year service kit, or whatever it is they call it, you get one of these pre-built up. But the thing is, it's just a series of seals, so I'm not sure why they do that, because they could just give you the seals like they do in the other kits. Right, so grease, fork grease. So this is special grease that is actually okay to use with rubber. So what you do is make sure it's in there. That's good. And then that's lathered up as well. I'm more bothered about this inner edge here, because that's the edge that seals inside the chamber. That bit's outside the chamber, and that slides up and down. But we've got to get a good seal underneath the rubber that's on there anyway. But what you want to do is try and keep the grease off the Teflon-y bit. So just put that down there. So that's the new one of them. That's the new one of them that goes through nearly. Don't drop it. Right, so that goes in there. And then this, I'll work out the best way to take this one over. Probably over the top here. So this is like putting piston rings on an engine. You've got to be very careful that you don't damage them. Right, brilliant. That's in. So on the other one had a pinch at the back of it, and I wasn't sure whether that was there to slide into the grooves, but I'm beginning to think it definitely wasn't. So let's put this one back on that goes in there. And then what we'll do is we'll just make sure that that's smeared up in there. That's all sealed up with gunk, and that's sealed up with gunk. We will stand that on there out of the way on the clean surface. Right. Now I'm pretty sure at this point this just goes over the top of this and gets screwed up. If I can get it through. There we go. Still none the wiser as to where that one goes. But we took one off. Oh, I think that just slides. I think that just sat on me. Yes, it did. That's right. Yes, that just sat floating in the hole. I suspect it's a bump stop. That one, when it's all the way down. So we just need to drop that out of there and drop this in. Oh, just my finger. Still watching. Right. Question is, can I get away with that? What's that? There's a dog accident going on outside. Right, so what's he trying to do here? Aha. Right, so what is that? That is a 23. I thought it was a 22, that. It might be a 22. Try 22. No, it's definitely a 23. 24, we don't have a 23. We'll call it that. Plus we've got a 23 in here. Nope, 19 is the biggest we've got. So let's have a look. It's definitely not a. Need to be careful catching that with them. So I'll try to avoid using adjustables because they do have a habit of chewing it up. Right, it's not about tightening that up because it's not going to come undone. It's just about making sure that the rubber seal's gone through. So what we do need to do now is, because that's got to go inside the tube. So let's just drop this out of the way because I'm trying to remember which order where this has to go in. Right, so it goes top down. So what we need to do is try and get this as high as possible. Because I've got to get this over there so that we can then slide that shaft onto it. And I'm pretty sure that those don't go through here, so this has to go on like this first. So again, what we'll do is it's got butter in it, but we'll add a bit more. What I'll do is I'll just grease up round there to try and make it go over easier. There's probably an argument actually, I might have been better off putting this over before I put that nut back on, to be honest. Yep, I think we'll do that. I don't like the look of that. No, do you know what? It probably tells you to do that in the menu. I'm going to make sure I get a really good fit for these. Drop it a bit lower, and then it can brace itself against the workbench. I don't like using the top cap as a brace, but we haven't done this up tight, so it should be okay. So what I'm doing is the seat mounting pace is now braced against the bench itself, so it should stop it from spinning out. There we go. Not a whole lot. Didn't want the whole lot. Right, so let's just. Now there is a trick you can do if you've got some polythene sheeting. Don't know if it's rigid enough to do it. I don't know if I've got enough of this. Let's have a look. So what you can do is if you put that round there like that, you can get that to go inside it, and then I'll get it out now. There's that much grease on it, I can't grip it. Possibly got a bit too much plastic in there as well. It's gone in double-sided, so there you go. So that's how you get the rubber seals over the edges if they don't want to play. Alright. So what we need to do now is shove this up. Come on, stop being awkward. So that goes down there. Ton of butter around there to catch back into the seal for the stuff we've just dragged out using the plastic bag technique. So a bit more in there, a bit more in there. Now this is going to be a bit of an experiment because I've never done these before with a replacement set of pins. There we go. So the pins I took out were all 6s, except for one of them, but I couldn't quite see the markings on it. It could have been they've got worn down because it was quite badly worn, that one. I suspect that was the one at the back. So what we will find out is if these are any good. So these are 6s. So definitely 2 of the ones I took out were 6s. What you do is you don't drop them on the floor. So I'm now going to play hunt that and now clean it. So these are the guides. They're made out of brass, they're sacrificial. And the idea is that these wear out instead of you wearing out the internals on the guide tube. So you want tons and tons of muck on them. Now it should be a sealed system this, you shouldn't be able to get muck in it, but they get muck in them. I need to have a look where that is as well. So the front, I'm guessing is that way. So we've got to make sure that this goes to the front, which doesn't work out at all with where that is. Which I don't know why, to be honest. Is it because that's the front? It could be because that's the front. Interesting. I would have thought that would have been the front. Well, that's definitely in line with that one, so we'll go with that. Perfect. That, I'm really happy with that, because 6s are the biggest. So if one of them was a 3, for some reason they shouldn't be. They should all be the same. But because of defects in manufacturing, they have a sizing thing. So when they put them again in the factory, they put in the size of the bushing to fit the manufacturing, because there's a tolerance on the manufacturing. So obviously they've got to adjust it to that. Now I need to be careful at this point because I've got to put some other components in here, and I need to check which way up they go. So I'm thinking at this point, I might pump it up actually for a laugh. In fact, I can't pump it up because the pumping up bit's on the other end. So I'm gonna have to take this out again now. We've established that it works. Oh, that's why I haven't put it in. That'll be why. Right. Read the manual. Right, so let's re-butter that up. Make sure that's lubed up and there's no muck in there. That goes in there. We don't want it in deep, that one. This needs screwing up now. It's actually bracing itself against the vice at the bottom now. Right, so that's done up. Now we're pointing that way. So I think we'd established that that goes on at the back. Now, I just need to go and check something because this has to go on, but I can't remember which way up it goes. I think it goes that way up because that's the bump stop. So if the thing's all the way down, that protects it. So I think that sits on like that. But again, this all needs greasing up because it's got to go inside that piece there. And this is the bit that determines how high the saddle goes. So again, loads of grease on it because you can't have enough grease. So that goes like that. Manually. What should be an exploded parts diagram that shows you where all the parts go? Nope, that would be way too easy. So we need to nip that in now. Come on. That'll be awkward. Tempted to put a tie wrap around it, to be honest. And then let the tie wrap shove it down, and I'll cut the tie wrap off. But the problem is with doing that is that it's putting the tie wrap on it, and I don't really want to. Let's tie wrap. That one go round. It might do. So what I'm going to do is use this like a ring compressor. So I'd already said that this is very similar to a. Just get that out of the way. I think it's just slightly too small. Might be enough to get that through though. Come on. Ah! Are we back? Right, yeah, we overshot a bit and knocked them all out. So, take that off now. Stick these back in again. No, don't take it up too far. Right. So, let's put a bit more grease in there. Stick these back in again. I did find them all, by the way. Just now got to clean them again. That's that one stuck in. Oops. Still got a big lump of crud on it. It's so important that you keep these clean, because you get one piece of contamination in this build now, and I know it looks like an absolute shithole around here, but I'm being so careful what's on my hands when I'm putting these back together. I'm making sure that I don't contaminate any of this. Right, so I'm just going to be really careful now. Let me unclip you from your normal little location and see if I can tilt you back slightly or something. So see if you can see that, don't fall over. Right, so what we've got to do is that's about the middle of it. What I'm going to try and do is keep my fingers on these as I slide this down. Problem is, because now we've got that, another hindsight, I don't think I should have put the plastic bump stop in at this point. There we go, that's it. She's bit. I'm just going to make sure that the slides. There we go. Beautiful, like butter. That feels really good actually, because it was quite loose before. Whew, that's the worst bit, I think, over. So all we've got to do now is this top cap. We've got to do the top cap up. As I said, I'm pretty sure that that's how that goes in there. That rubber piece gets knocked to the bottom and it sits against this. So all we've got to do is sort of tighten this up now. So this needs to come out and I need to tighten that up. And I've got to put the valve end in that bit. So that sits in there, which is another bit. I might have to put that in the small hole to fasten that up. So I've got to clean all that lot round there. And then all we've got to do then is just pump it up and test it. So what I will do is just make sure we've got plenty of grease on that. I mean, technically I could actually pull that out because I don't think it's fastened in, but I wouldn't, yeah, I could do it like that. Right. But what we will do before we go any further with this is I want to get this done up. So we will, because I know this is particularly difficult to do up. I'll put the rubber sleeve back on again. making sure we don't get any muck in there. Now then, I can't remember what size this top nut was, because I think I did actually have a spanner that fitted that. It wasn't that one. It certainly wasn't that one. Another reason why I'm doing this first is because what I wanted to do was pump it up and then leave it before I put it back on the bike, because when it's on the bike you can't get to the inflator. You've got to take the seat post out to get to the inflator. The only plus side of an adjustable is that you can keep clamping and unclamping. You don't have to slide it on and off, so it doesn't chew up. Need a little bit more torque on that. Right. So that's in now. What I need to do now is flip it over, grab that piece there in one of these that we made. Well, did we put it in that one? No, we didn't. We used this one. That was right. Yeah, we drilled that one out. So that's all we're doing with that. This bit does actually have a little rubber seal in there as well. That bit goes in there. So let me just make sure that there is a rubber seal at the bottom. So in the full service kit, you get that rubber as well. You get all the rubbers in the full service kit. So what we need to do first is just crank that one on. I can't remember if that is a 22. I do like them. They do like to get the money's worth out of the toolkit, the old SRAM. Right, I'm happy with that. Again, it's because there's a rubber seal in there. It's not. Oh no! I've got to put the wiper on. Got to put the wiper on. Now I think the wiper sits above the. I need to check that. The wiper actually might sit at the bottom. Let me go and quickly fasten that back in again, and we'll go and find out where the wiper sits. I think it was at the bottom. I think it was one of the first bits I took off, but we need to check that before I. There we go. That's coming out. Oh, you're still over there. I forgot you were over there. I'm looking over there, and you're down there still, aren't you? Just stop you to looking at the manual. Oh, I never guessed it right. Right, bump, stop, ring, floating spacer, oil soaked thing, ton more grease, and that's it. That's how it should go. That is apparently how it goes together. So we'll grip this one back up again, because it'd be like fiddly stuff. Well, I thought that screwed in there. Ah, it doesn't, does it? Yeah, it doesn't. There's a clip. It ain't gonna win like that. So let's. It's having a fart. That's it. I think we should be able to pump it up now. This is why I can't find the tool again for putting the things back in. Did I put it back in here? There it is. It's in the smallest pot. Look at that. Actually put it away when it's supposed to go. So let's see if it works. This could go horribly wrong. So what we should say is it should start to pump it back out, downwards. Mind you, I haven't said that though. I don't know what the lock's doing, so it could end up going anywhere really. No, it's not taking pressure. I suspect we lost the hydraulics. Yep. So because there's no hydraulics in there, it's not going to take pressure because the valve's not shutting in the top of there, so it's not going to take pressure. And here it is whizzing out. So I'm starting to wonder whether the valve's not any good now. Yeah. Where did I put that? Pop it back in here. Try the valve again, just make sure there wasn't anything wrong with it. Oh, do you know what? That helped. I didn't screw the didn't screw the pressure valve in, so all I was doing is just blowing straight out the side. There we go. Now we've got some pressure. Who's the new guy? Right, that's 200. I think it's 250 on this. So this one, the cap. 250 psi. I'll pay attention. So we are on 250. I've had this shock pump for years and years and years, and you know what? You can't get them like that anymore. It's brilliant. The only downside is it doesn't work for some of them. So we've got a bit of a problem with the hydraulics. There aren't any because I made a mess of it. So that's the only thing we've got to sort out now is we've got to bleed these out. I keep pulling that off, which isn't doing a great deal of good for it. Get back on yet. Right, so I've just got a bleeding job to do now. So, what's the best way to do this? Actually, we can probably utilise this. There we go. Just stick that in there. And we've got everything captured. So there is a bleed nipple there and a bleed valve there. And what we're going to do is we're going to bleed them. A bleeding nuisance, that's what it is. So as I said, these came with a bleed kit. It's the external one, and I think that is possibly it. We've got some fresh new reverb oil there. So that one particularly is for, what are you? That one particularly, these are for the new Rockshox. So that's for the stealth, because you shove it into the cassette. So what I'm looking for is the other Rockshox, which are these. So these are the ones that came with that one, I believe. There shouldn't be any others. Yep, that's about right. So these screw into those elements. So all I've got to get is the correct dripping hydraulic fluid oil itself. Now, I think these are a Torx bit from memory. They are. And not that one. Ah, it is that one. Right, so if you remember, we popped that cap off and we shunted them. So we lost all the hydraulics. So I'm just going to just purge these because there was a lot of shit from another bleed. And I can't remember what I used these for last time. I'm pretty sure it was brakes. I can't remember what. So, and I can't remember what grade of oil they had in them either. So we'll just give it a quick blast out. No, that looks all right. It's a lot of this just to make sure there's no contamination, no water that's got in there. And we've got all the rubbish out, because what we don't want to be doing is shoving any more rubbish in. Come on. Got them all fingers and thumbs today. Or we could get a screwdriver that's long enough. Beautiful. The trick is finding the right sized bit for these. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. I think it is these. That's definitely not it. That's not it. Well, I appear to have one of them. That's definitely one of them. Well, I thought that was the other one, because that looks almost identical, but it looks like we've lost the end of it. There's an end there. It is quite possible that that was that end, that it's gone naked. I don't think it is though, I think that's another one. It could be. Yeah. We might have to go hybrid. So we've got one of those and use one of the ones of the other one. So if we grab that, that's the inner of the other Rockshox kit, which is over there. Because that should be the same as that. It is. So if I put that in there, there's my reverb. It's the older stuff. Right, and we get this one. And the same thing. It's just all we need to do is unscrew these. Don't lose them. And I think one is slightly different to the other. So I'll drop them in there. That screws into there, theory. It's crunchy. Great, we're putting the heavier one into the bendy one. It's absolutely covered in crud because it's been on the handlebars. So we'll get this one, screw that one into there. It doesn't fit. Right, we're back. We did get them in the end. There was just a bit of crap in there. I used one of the other ones to put it out now. What you need to do is, ideally you want to press this in, because if you draw, it can suck air around there or suck air around the connections. And as you can see, that this one's already full of air. So let's take this one off, because that's not going to help our cause at all. I suspect what's happened there is it was actually the air that was trapped inside the unit that's come through. So what we'll do is, because we know there was an airlock there, is we'll just press it through from this side first. There you go, there's the air coming out. That's a whole load of air. more air. Some muck actually. Right, so what we need to do now is, before we press this back, is to make sure that this is up in the air, otherwise that air that we've just got into there is going to come back. And what we want to do is actually technically push this one further back than we started with, and that way we know we've flushed the entire lot back. And what we're looking for is see if there's any air comes through on the other side. Well, if there's no air, in theory, we should have cracked it. Right, that looks good. Now the only problem we've got is that there might be some air trapped in there. So I'm going to try and just bend that down so that anything that's in there is now rising up. Hopefully there's nothing. Right, that looks good. So we'll take this one off first. What you need to do is have this ready. You've got to be fairly quick. What you don't want to do is drop the screw on the floor. So get that one out of the way. Quickly undo it. And then the same for this one, so drop it. Get the grub screw ready. Undo that. Hopefully that's good, he says. And it didn't work. Oh, we've got some pressure. So we're now getting pressure, so that's good. I suspect what I've just done there is just purged the whole load, but now you can see that it's actually returning. It wasn't returning before. Now, if this doesn't work, it could be that because I've messed up that, I've got to take that out and fill it in. So we'll give it another go. I'm trying to remember if there's something you could do where you turn these upside down and do them while they're actually upside down, but I don't think that'll work, to be honest. So we'll give it another bleed and see where we go. If not, I shall resort to the manual again. Put this one on this side this time. Besides law that says it won't fit in this side. It doesn't fit in that side. This one does though. So well, it says using the wrong one. Are we recording? Right, let's have a bash at this. Right, so it looks like the last 20 minutes worth of videos just got corrupted, and I ain't going to take it all to pieces and do it again. The second bout of bleeding did work. It did fix it. I need to have a look at the video and see exactly when it crapped out, but the bleeding worked as it should do using the syringes, using the top mounts. I do recall now that you lock off the top one and then you pump this one with the thing to prime this as well, and that's what I hadn't done. So it does work now. I had lost some pressure as well after we'd pumped it up, so I fixed that too. So if I press it down now, that goes all the way down, and then back up again. So it is working. So hopefully, like I said on the other video, which we didn't record, the next time we see this, hopefully it'll be on the bike. I don't know if the reverb's going to end up as a two-parter or one-parter. This has taken quite a long time, but I've just lost about 20 minutes worth of video. I think the camera overheated, to be honest. As I was saying on the video that went and disappeared, it is getting very hot in here now. It's about 20-something degrees outside. I've got no air conditioning. I've got the door shut. Anyway, so we're cracking on with this one. Next. Everything's fine on that. I did tighten up the things. I cheated on that because I was getting sick of it spinning around. But as always, like and subscribe. I'll do this quickly just in case the camera overheats again. I hope you enjoyed this. I will try and do a bit more videos that are a bit more technical with these, doing shocks and things. I do end up doing quite a lot of these because you pay quite a lot of money to get these things you know, it's like about 100 and something quid to get this to get a service on these. But the service kit, to buy the service kit is about 50 quid anyway. So, you know, it takes your money, but a lot of the times you don't need it. They just need a clean off. It's only because I let this go too long that it actually need doing. You know, a 50-hour service kit is all I've used for this, and it's absolutely shot. So we'll see how we go. It's pumped up to 250, slightly over, so we'll see what it is tomorrow, and just check that before it goes back on the bike. But as I said before, if it doesn't, you'll probably see more pictures of it. We fixed the initial problem, which we wanted to fix anyway, which was the guides were worn out, so we dropped lucky with that. There's the old guides, and you can see they are pretty manky. We've got all this lot to put back on the bike. So, again, hopefully we'll tear into some stuff like this. I've still got another session to do on this because it kept stalling. So I've got some new fuel line and stuff for that. Anyway, we're digressing again. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Job's a good one.